This will be a lesson video on all of the songs that I have written so far, which will be most of the songs from Military Snake and No Excuses. The first song that I can play from memory is Don't Trust Me. I know it's on bass, but I've got my guitar on right now, so I'm just going to show you how to play it on guitar. It's basically three phrases, 3.5. Let's just say 3.5. The first phrase so it's 10th fret on the D, and it'll just go down from the 12th, the 10th, and the 9th fret on the G string. And then when it gets to the 7th fret of the G string, that is the octave of the open D string. So you'll just take your finger off the 10th. And basically repeat that for the next strings down. The next phrase is a descending lick, I guess you could say, where it alternates between the open D string and the 12th, 10th, 9th, 7th, 5th, 3rd, and 2nd fret on the G. So, like I just did, just repeat that same style for the next strings down until you run out of strings. So if you're playing it on like a 7 or an 8 string, you just keep going down. The next phrase is basically the power chords on the 9th fret of the E, 11th, and 12th fret, and then repeat whatever that you do on the A string as well. And it's just picking each note individually. So it would just be 12, 14, 12. Well, it would be 12, 14, 12, 10, and then back to the 9th fret bar chord, or power chord, I mean. But on the A string, it would be, sorry, the D string. On the D string, it would be 12, 14, 12, 11. On the E string, it would be 12, 14, 12, 10. And then the same thing on the A string. Falling Autumn is basically 6 chords, 6 power chords, and then repeating that 3 frets up. So it's the power chords on the 4th fret, 2nd fret, and 0th fret on the A string and E string, and then 3 frets up would be 7, 5, 3. And the way it goes is that you hold this same left-hand shape of the power chord for the entire song, and the rest of the song you're tapping the frets that are 3 frets up from wherever the pinky is. I don't do it in the bar chord shape, so it wouldn't be... It's all on the 9th fret for the first part. So the way the tapping pattern goes is and then when it gets down to the next string down, it goes, you stroke down and up with your thumb, and you strum the chords before you tap them. The second part of the song would have the same thing, basically, but you're moving your tapping hand down from the 9th fret to the 7th fret. The notes, as you can tell, are a little quieter because it's harder to tap with the distance of 1 fret. So you'll have to put a little more oomph into it, I guess you could say, for the tapping hand, but it doesn't matter because the way it sounds, it's kind of designed to be quieter. For the next parts of the song, just repeat the same thing that you did for the first 2 parts of the song, 3 frets up. This song also has a bass guitar and a 12-string acoustic guitar accompaniment. The 12-string is just playing the bar chords and strumming them. But when it strums all of the strings, it is the open E, B, and E string. And for the bass, it's basically following the root notes of the lead guitar line. Whenever it goes to the quieter part where your tapping hand goes down 2 frets than normal, it will slide up to the octave of what it was playing down here. So if I was playing in the 4th fret part of the song, I would be sliding up here to the 16th fret. Pretty simple. So the Adventure Karma theme revolves around these 2 notes for the first part. It's just B and A. So it's a B power chord. So 10, 9, 7 quick hammer-on the 9, and that's all on the A string. And then you move down to the A power chord. And then for that, you bar the 5th fret and just hit the 2 bottom strings. For this, you just move from the bar position to middle finger on the 5th fret of the E, first finger on the 4th fret of the A string. And when you return to the B note, it's just going to be returning to the power chord position of the A and just sliding up. The next part of the song is basically continuing that riff, but you're adding in these lead guitar harmonies. So now it's So how in the world do you play that, you may be asking? Well, it's very simple. It's just 14, 15, 14, 12, hammer onto the 14. So it's 9, so it's 10, 9, hammer on the 10, slide up to the 12, and then sliding back to the 14 to repeat the phrase. And then you basically repeat the same thing on the E string and the B string. And then when it builds up to the both of the lead guitars will follow the same faster picking pattern, but the higher part will make a slide up to the 17th fret, while the lower part on the B string will just continue playing the part that it normally plays, and then just goes right into the solo. The riff during the solo is just a single string riff, and it's 2nd fret on the E, 5th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret. The second riff that goes through is basically an extended form of the main riff. where it's basically adding 2 palm mutes between each note change that happens. After the solo part, it returns to the standard riff. And now after that solo part, the lead guitar line will just go right down here, and it's basically playing what it did up here, except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 7. 7 frets down. And it just ends on the B note. So, that solo in Adventure Karma 1 is a totally random solo, and I have no idea how to play it. So I'm going to be sitting here, learning how to play it correctly, and then teaching it to you guys. Okay, so the solo for Adventure Karma sounds something like this. Sort of like that. Basically, it starts on the 9 and 11 of the G string. And then it goes to 10 and 12 on the B string, and then up to 15 and 14 on the B string. So you pick the 17 on the E string and 14 on the B string at the same time and let them ring out. And then hit the 15 on the E string and mute the B string. So take your finger off. So 15, 14... 15, 14, 15, 17, 19 on the E string. So after you get to the 19, you're going to go to the 17 on the E string and slide down to the 14 on the E string. So then it goes to 17, 15 on the B string, and then 14 on the B string. And then do the same thing as you did before with the 17 and 14 ringing together. But this time, you're going to hit the 15th fret and then bar the 15th fret so that the top high strings are both on the 15th, and then slide down, and then enter the second part of the solo, where it goes. So it's basically 9 and 11 on the G string, 10 and 12 on the B string, are the notes for that part of the solo. So then you bar the 12th fret on the E and B strings. And then it goes to your ring finger on the 14th fret of the E string, and then ringing out, and then hitting the 12th fret of the B string at the same time. So they're both ringing out, and while it's ringing out, just use your pinky and hammer on pull off the 15th. Try not to mute the B string, but if it does, then oh well. And then it's just a slide from the 10 to the 12 on the B string a few times. Fourteen, hammer on 15, pull off to the 14, and then slide back to 12. And then it's just hammer on pull off from the 12, 14, and 15 of the high E string. And then it ends with a 15, 12, 14 on the B string. Okay, I gotta tell you though, all of Military Snake is tuned down half a step to D sharp. So what I'm playing is an E standard. So if you want to play along with the album, you're gonna have to tune down a bit. So the way the intro part of Sight goes is it's 7 on the G and 5 and 6 on the B string, and a hammer on with your pinky on the 8th fret of the B string. And then slide that down 3 frets. The main riff of Sight, and the one that's a real jam, sounds something like. So how you play that is open E on the open E string, and then 7th fret on the A string, which is the octave, 5, 7 on the D, 5, hammer on 7, pull off to 5 on the G string, so 7, 5, 7, but all the 7 is on the D string and the 5 is on the G string. And you can add a pinch harmonic in there if you want for the 5 to give it some more feel. And then it'll start again as normal. But when you get to that 5 on the D string, you're gonna go to a 7, 5, slide to 3 on the A string, and then 3, 5 on the E string. And basically I just work around that for most of the song. It's just... I like doing this 9-10, 9-7-9 on the G string. And the 3-5-1. Those are basically the riffs for Sight. Military Snake is a pretty lazy album altogether, so you just need to know the riffs, and there's not really any song structure to it. It's a lot of noodling, as you've heard from Passive Power. The song Military Snake has basically 3 parts to it. The first part Okay, so the first part of Military Snake is sliding up, so the basic phrase of it is open string 3-5, 3-5-7, 5-7-9, 7-9. So open E 0-3-5, 3-5-7 on the A, 5-7-9 on the D, and then 7-9 on the G. And normally I'll just do a double stop bend with the 9 on the G and the 10 on the B, and I bend the 9 a whole step up. And then you repeat that basic phrase for the A string, so 0-3-5, 3-5-7, 5-7-9. But I don't do the 7-9 here because otherwise it sounds like this. Doesn't quite sound right. So I end it with a 6-8-10 on the B string. I'm sorry, not a 6-8-10, an 8-10-12. Technically it's an 8-10-12, 10-8-10. When you do it on the D string, it's only the 0-3-5 and the 3-5-7 that stay consistent. Because then you replace the 5-7-9 with a 6-8-10. And then instead of going up to the E string, it's going to slide it to 8-10-12, still on the B string, and then it'll just be this random part where it this lick on the 10, 12, and 13 of the B and the E. Ten, 12, 13 on the B, 10, 12, 13 on the E, 12, 10, 13, so 10, 12, sorry, 12, 10 on the E and 13 on the B. Ten, 12, 13 on the B, 10, 12, 13 on the E, and then when it gets to the 13 on the E, so then 12, 10, 13, 10 on the E, and then 13, 12 on the B, and then restart. The more refined form of the song that I've created right now is basically doing a double stop bend where it's a half step bend on the 12th fret of the B and just a standard 12 on the high E, resolving on the 10 of the B, and then a double stop full bend on the 12 of the G and the 10 of the B, resolving with the 10 on the G, 10 on the D, and 12 on the D. And then you can climb up to 12-14 on the D, 12-14 on the G. And here's where the second part starts. This next part of the song is a neoclassical lick inspired by Michelangelo Badio. It's 14 on the G, 13 on the B, and 12 on the E. And then 13, 15 on the E. Retract to 13, 12 on the E. So 15, 12 on B and E respectively. (15, 13, 12 on the B string, 13, 12 on the B and 14 on the G, 12 on the B, 14 on the G, slide from 12 to 14 on the G, and then pick 14 again. In the song No Boundaries by Michelangelo Badio, there's this, what he calls in the lesson video, a neoclassical lick, where it goes... So that's basically my tribute to Michelangelo Badio right there, is this lick in Military Snake. And you repeat this lick 4 more times up the neck if you have a 24 fret instrument. So that's 4. If you have a 24 fret instrument, you can go a 5th time. Because it climbs up to the 23rd fret right here. If you don't, and like me, have a 21 fret instrument that you wrote the song on, then it's just... three times. Maybe 4 if you want to go up to the 21st fret. If you have a 21 fret instrument, then the phrase is cut off by this random descent down to the E power chord. And if you have a 24 fret instrument, then it's basically the same thing, but it starts 2 frets up because you've repeated the lick 1 time more. This next part is the last part of the song, pretty much. this third part of the song, as well as the first part, were written from a dream that I had. No joke, I had a dream where I met Kirk Hammett, and the first part of Military Snake and the third part, which is what I'm going to show you right now, was from that dream. And as soon as I woke up, I went to play what I had played in the dream so that I could remember it. It's this lick that basically revolves around the 12 on the B, 10 and 14 on the E. I haven't mastered that picking technique that quickly yet, so I'm just lazy and I recorded it like where it's 14-10 pull off, and then land on the 12 of the B and have a break while my hand moves. And so that part is stretching your pinky up to the 15th fret, 14, and then using your middle finger for the 12. And then slide it down 2 frets, so now your middle finger is rooted on the 10 of the B, and now you're hammering off from 12 to the 9 on the E. Stretch to the 14 and pull off from 14 to 9. Go back to 12, and then do a little trill from the 9 to the 10 on the E. So you're going to do that basically 4 times, and on the 3rd time, you're going to hit 17 and pull off to the E, and then land on 12 on the B. Whatever you do, though, you have to slide up to the 19 on the E. And so this next part is a little wonky because I play it weirdly. This hammer-on lick is from 9 on the B to 7 and 10 on the E. And then it moves down to the 9 on the E, and then moves to... I play it like this. It's a weird finger stretch, and it puts your fingers at a pretty sharp angle, but I do it because my pinky has to come up to the 12. And then you can descend with a... where you have your middle finger rooted on the 7s, the 7, the 5, and the 3 of the B string. And you're pulling off from 9 to 5 on the E, 7 to 3 on the E, and 5 to 2 on the E. And then do whatever kind of descending lick that you want for ending on a big E power chord. And then you can end it in madness. So the song But Are You Really Alive is basically this same tapping lick symmetrically placed across all 6 strings. So kind of the dime bag symmetrical technique, but it's with tapping. And it's going to be, your left hand is going to be playing 6, 5, 3, and the 8 of all the 6 strings, and you're just going to be tapping on the 10 with your right hand. The way to think about tapping is that if you're tapping one note and playing 2 with your left hand, then the tap is considered the downbeat. If you're tapping and only releasing one note and then returning to the tap, then that one note is considered the downbeat. So, for example, it just depends on the context of it, because in this song it's the strings that the pull-offs from the taps, as it were, is the downbeat. Those are the notes that the listener is focusing on. So it's just going to be your left hand is going to go 6 5 3 5 6 5 3 5 6 8 6 5 3 5. And do the same thing for all 6 strings. That's pretty much it.